Welcome, my friends, to December. It is the best month of the year. Obviously, we all know this by now. I am your host, Ansu, and I'm so excited for this entire month. I had this crazy plan to make videos pretty much every single day, well, for 12 days of December. So I'm thinking of starting from the 12th to the 24th. That's 12 days, right? Yeah, I think. Anyway, we're gonna make it somehow, I think. I had this incredible idea to do that, but before that I wanted to do a November wrap-up and a December TBR. The reason being I don't want to be extremely late as usual, so I thought I would just get it out of the way and then all the other videos can go in around the 12th and onwards. I think that's a good plan. I hope you stick around to watch everything, but today I want to talk about the one book that I read in November. November was extremely busy. I don't know. I lost track of time, and by the end of the month, I was just like, what is going on? It's already the 30th when I'm filming this, and I have yet to finish reading more books. So the one book that I ended up finishing in November was The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. If you didn't know, Freida McFadden writes these thriller novels, and she has like little twists and turns in these books. I'm gonna be honest, most likely might see some of these twists, at least a lot of these twists, and I am unfortunately now one of those people who can actually figure out these twists very quickly. But nonetheless, Freida McFadden has a way of writing stories that I really do enjoy. It follows her in dual perspectives. You're following around Tom in the before time and Sydney in the current time, and it's really interesting to see like what is going on in between their lives and how these two characters are interconnecting. Tom is an absolute weirdo, and he has these very sinister thoughts in his head when we're seeing that happen. We're seeing how his character is kind of developing over the years when he was a kid into his adulthood is what we're seeing in the before time period. And in the current time period with Sydney, she's a single woman in her 30s. She's still single. Did I just say single? I did say single already. She's had terrible luck in the dating world. She finally meets someone who seems perfect. He's such a lovely man. He has a good job. He's handsome. All the check boxes are checking, and she's excited. But this is the time also when a murder of a young woman gets really televised, I guess, and Sydney also comes to know about it. This is like a serial killer who kills his girlfriends. It's also very close to home to Sydney. So she's terrified. She has no idea what's going on, and it's about her kind of figuring things out. It is very fun. It is very bloody, and it's a lot to take in, but I think it was a good story. Pretty enjoyable. I think I give this like 3 stars or 3.5. It was enjoyable enough for me, and I think everyone should read Freida McFadden. She's pretty good. That was one book that I ended up finishing. So talking about like a TBR for December, I am currently in the middle of 2 books. Like I said, I haven't had the time to fully finish anything, but I've been physically reading A Funny Story by Emily Henry. Daphne, our main character, loved the way her fiance Peter told their love stories, and they were having such a good time. You know, they were good together, and they're about to get married very soon. And they've actually moved out to his hometown, and they're living together. Everything's going really well until one night, the bachelor party of the guy, Peter, he ends up confessing his love towards his childhood best friend, Petra. Obviously, Daphne's shocked. She's left alone. She has no home now because she uprooted her entire life for Peter and moved complete towns and everything. So she has nowhere to really go. The only person she can really turn to at this point, at this desperate time, was Petra's ex-boyfriend, Miles. So both Daphne and Miles has been dumped by their partners respectively, and now they're living together, moping about their lives. They kind of build this connection throughout slowly. One thing about Miles is that he's very like carefree. He seems to be like a Nick Miller-esque character from New Girl, and I think you can definitely see that characteristic in him, but he's also very high most of the time. He's an interesting character. These 2 characters, Daphne and Miles, actually gets invited to a wedding. Guess whose wedding? Peter and Petra's. It's happening in like a couple of months, and they're like, what the heck? They decide to actually go together, so there's a fake dating trope. And Emily Henry has such a lovely way of writing that you get engrossed into the story. You really want to know more about these characters, and I absolutely enjoy the way that she brings out stories to life, and I've been really enjoying this. I know some people were not thriving with this one, but I don't know. So far, I've been really enjoying it. It's been going good, so I'm definitely recommending that. I'm going to continue finishing that book this month in December. And the next one, I was in the middle of Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. If you didn't know, this is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, which was one of my favorite books from like 2 or 3 years ago. I was absolutely obsessed with the characters and the storyline. It's like a found family type of situation. We have a bunch of little kids who have magical powers. They have been kind of ostracized by humankind. Nobody wants to interact with them because they're scared. And they've been living in this house on the Cerulean Sea. One of the humans from like the extremely upper management ends up going to investigate how this house is running and the person who's running it. Essentially, in that there is a romance. There is the person who's running it, Arthur, and also the guy who goes there, Linus. They end up having a connection. They fall in love with each other. The kids love these people as well. It's a very sweet story, for sure. And this is a continuation of that, just a lot more drama because they're trying to make humankind also understand that magical people are just still people and they mean well. They're not going to be harmful necessarily, and you should stop being scared of them. And that's kind of how the story is going so far. I'm enjoying it. I think the magical element that was in the first book is kind of lacking in this one, unfortunately, for me at least. I've been enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but I think the whimsiness that I felt in the first one is slightly lacking. Maybe it's been years and that's why I'm not feeling it that much. I've been enjoying it for sure, and I'm glad I'm reading it. That's pretty much it. These are the two books that I'm currently reading. Now, if you're wondering, what are you going to continue to read, Ansu? I really want to read some Christmas books, okay? I think Christmas books are something that I genuinely just don't gravitate towards for some reason. I love like holiday romances when I read them. I really do enjoy it. But do I pick them up? Not necessarily. I don't know why. I think that needs to change. And I do have a couple of books on my shelf that I want to get to. One of them being, if I can find it, where are you, friend? One of them being The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I have had this book for a couple of years, maybe a year at this point. It's about the single dad who's also a town manager named Noah Yates. And one day, like a hurricane completely destroys this little town in Connecticut. And he's basically there trying to scramble to get the pieces of the home that he loves back into one piece. Well, clearly I'm good at explaining how books go. There's this renovation expert and also a TV reality star, this lady named Catalina King, who shows up with a camera and a very, very large budget to like fix up a freaking town. So obviously Noah is like, screw you, I don't want you in my town, get out. And they end up actually working together, and obviously there is a romance. I've definitely had my eyes on this book for a while now, and I'm excited to get to it, so hopefully I'll get to this one in December. I got interrupted, so I lost my train of thought. The book cover was really gorgeous, that's why I got it. Another Christmas book that I do own is The Christmas Orphans Club. This one, if I'm remembering it right, is about these four friends who don't really have any family. They were each other's family, and one day one of the couples, or one person in this group, decides that they're going to move to LA. And Hannah, one of the people who just finally kind of worked on making this family happen, she's terrified that it's going to break friendship, this family group, apart. She's struggling a little bit. I think the guy who's leaving has feelings for another guy in that group, so that's why he's leaving. That's about all I got. Carly Fortune and Annabelle Monaghan have blurbs on this book, so do with that information what you will. Really want to read some Christmas books, so these two are definitely on my radar. There are a couple more books that I want to get to in terms of like thrillers, or there's one fantasy, I think it was called Phantasma, if I'm not wrong. It's a dark fantasy romance, so I'd like to get to that one as well, just to see if I like it. I've heard some good reviews about that. That's on my radar as well. By looking at the trajectory that I've been going through in terms of November and December being super busy, with work especially, but also because it's Christmas. I have like Christmas things that I have to attend at church and everything. So all of those things are mushing together and I literally do not have the time. So I don't know how the reading experience is going to go like for the rest of this year, but I'm being very hopeful, okay? I think I'll be able to finish a few more books before this year end, at least the ones that I'm actually currently reading. I hope I can finish in the next couple of weeks at least. We'll see what I read, and I'll keep you guys posted towards the end of this year on like what I've actually finished reading and all that kind of stuff. I'll see you guys next time with my Bookmas-esque videos, and I hope you'll enjoy. But I'll see you all then. Until then, I'll talk to you all in the comments. Goodbye!